Discover the incredible journey. 3 abandoned kids transformed by a soldier lead to a shocking revelation. In a small Midwestern town, 3 siblings huddled together for warmth. Mia, the eldest, always wore a protective scowl, as if her eyes could shield her younger siblings from the pain of their past. Jacob, the joker, whispered silly thoughts and cracked jokes, trying to pull laughter from their tired hearts. And Lily, the dreamer, stared out the cracked window, imagining a family that would love them like in the stories she read. They found themselves in an orphanage that was as run down as the hopes they carried. Abandoned by a mother consumed by addiction, they clung to each other, their bond forged by resilience. Every day felt like a battle. Mia worked hard, keeping Jacob's spirits up and often finding a way to care for Lily's dreams. These were bittersweet days, filled with both hope and despair, as whispers of adoptive parents floated through the air, leaving phantom fears of separation lingering in their hearts. They shared everything, but the idea of being apart felt like a dark shadow creeping closer. Then one day, the door creaked open, revealing Sergeant Ryan. A local war hero freshly returned, he stepped in as if drawn by an invisible string. He wandered through the orphanage halls, touched by whispers from the townsfolk about the children's incredible resilience. His heart, heavy with haunting memories from the battlefield, was drawn to their warmth. In their laughter, he saw a reflection of the family he longed for. Engaging with Mia, Jacob, and Lily brought something to life within him, a forgotten sense of purpose. Ryan began visiting regularly, sharing wisdom mixed with raw sincerity. There was something electric in the air whenever he was around, a fire igniting within the siblings. A sense of hope blossomed anew as Ryan introduced them to hard work through a community project aimed at revitalizing the dilapidated community center. But as the paintbrushes danced across old walls, so too did fears swirl in the nearby town. Rumors emerged that wealthier families were eyeing the siblings, ready to snatch them up. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Mia's heart raced as doubt crept in. The rumors about Ryan started wrapping around her like a thick fog. She couldn't shake the panic gripping her chest, pushing her to doubt the man who had been kind to them. What if he was just another person who would abandon them? Meanwhile, judgment buzzed around like a swarm of angry bees, leaving Ryan under scrutiny from the townsfolk. He felt the pressure build against him, but he wouldn't waver. Together, he and the children stood on the front lines, battling against prejudice and the pain of being cast aside. The weight of judgment grew heavy, and the siblings feared the dreams of a better life would rip them apart. Just as they started to imagine a stable future, misunderstandings and prejudice flared up, sending them spiraling toward uncertainty. The love they shared felt like sand slipping through their fingers, with the world around them screaming to be heard. What would it take to stand against the tide? Would they find a way to keep their family together, or would they remain stranded, yearning for a home? The answer hung in the air, heavy with possibility and heartbreak. Mia woke up earlier than usual, her heart pounding with worry. She could hear Jacob's soft snores and feel the warmth of Lily curled up next to her. Yet, an unease stirred within her. The gossip swirling around town had turned into a storm, and she felt the weight of it on her shoulders. What if Ryan's genuine kindness was merely a facade? She pushed the thought aside, determined to protect her siblings, even if it meant shutting everyone out. As the sun peeked through the grimy window, Mia made her way to the kitchen. The scent of burnt toast wafted through the air, trying to mask the lingering smell of despair that clung to the orphanage. She busied herself with breakfast, her hands moving on autopilot, but her mind raced with worry after overhearing the caretakers the night before. They spoke in hushed tones about potential adoptive families, high-profile couples scanning the horizon for their next charitable project, a seemingly perfect fit for 3 kids like them. When Jacob ambled in, scratching his head, Mia forced a smile. "You ready for another day of painting?" she asked, trying to sound cheerful. He yawned and grinned. You mean another day of making the community center look like a rainbow? Bring it on. Despite her facade, Mia's heart sank a little. The thought of Jacob and Lily being swept away by someone else gnawed at her. But she felt Ryan's presence like a lighthouse in the storm. His passion to rebuild their lives mirrored her own fierce determination. They needed to focus on the project and keep their spirits high. Yet, could they trust his intentions? Later that day, they gathered around the community center. Ryan was already there, rolling up his sleeves, ready to get to work. As he shared his vision for the center, his enthusiasm ignited their imaginations. Mia felt her defenses start to crack ever so slightly. Imagine this place bustling with kids playing, families laughing, Ryan said, eyes bright with hope. Jacob threw in a joke about popcorn and puppies, prompting laughter from Lily, while Mia tried to hide the flicker of warmth igniting in her chest. Yet, fear still gripped her heart. The townsfolk's stares were a weight that would not lift easily. Mia noticed a couple in the distance, watching them intently. She couldn't shake the feeling they were part of the problem families visiting the orphanage to meet the children. It made her stomach twist. Her resolve mixed with anxiety. By late afternoon, with paint splattered on cheeks and laughter ringing in the air, Ryan pulled Mia aside. "Hey, I know you might have doubts about me," he said softly, his face earnest. "But I promise I'm here for you three. I see myself in you, and I just want to help." Though she believed his words, her heart hesitated. What if someone took them away? What happens when the donations run out? She asked, steel in her words. What if you can't help us anymore? Ryan paused, taken aback. The friendship they had formed suddenly felt fragile. Then I will find a way, he replied earnestly. Family isn't just about blood, it's about love and support. I want you to know you're not alone in this. Mia's breath caught at his sincerity, yet doubt lingered like dark clouds. Could she really trust this man who dared to promise her a family? As day turned into twilight, uncertainty loomed. Each passing moment brought a decision closer, and the walls felt like they were closing in. Would they embrace this connection or let fear tear them apart? The question hung heavily in the air, leaving Mia gripping tightly to her siblings, hoping they wouldn't be swept away into uncertainty. Would they have the courage to confront their fears, or would they succumb to the shadows lurking just beyond their reach? The next morning, a chill hung in the air, a reminder that change was creeping closer. Mia blinked against the sunlight that streamed through the window, but the warmth did little to ease the tension coiling in her stomach. She lay still for a moment, heart racing, as the doubts from the previous day washed over her again. Despite Ryan's words, she felt as if the ground beneath them was shifting, and she struggled to find stability. With a heavy sigh, she rolled out of bed and tiptoed past Jacob and Lily, who were still lost in dreams. She slipped into the kitchen to prepare breakfast, each clang of the pans echoing against the silence, as if reminding her of the chaos threatening to unravel their fragile life. As she poured milk into a bowl of cereal, her thoughts were interrupted by the sound of soft footsteps. Jacob, with tousled hair and sleepy eyes, made his way into the room. "What's for breakfast?" he asked, a hint of yawn in his voice. "Just the usual," Mia replied, forcing a smile. "Cereal and toast." He rubbed his eyes and grinned. "Toast? Yummy." The playful banter between them lifted Mia's spirits a little, a reminder of the unwavering bond of family they shared. Yet, as the three of them sat around the table, the buzz of the outside world crept in. The whisper of anxiety wrapped around her again, tightening its grip. Later that day, as they walked to the community center, Mia spotted the couple from yesterday again. They were standing across the street, looking at the orphanage with eagerness in their eyes, a mix of hope and judgment that made her skin crawl. Something deep inside her churned. Who were they to come in and pick apart their lives like it was some kind of shopping spree? "Are you okay, Mia?" Jacob asked, noticing her sudden change in demeanor. She forced a nod, masking her turmoil. Once they arrived at the center, Ryan was already there, a burst of energy and positivity. "Hey, team!" he called out, waving as if they were old friends. "Today's the day. Let us tackle this mural together." As they painted, filled with color and laughter, Mia watched Ryan interact with Jacob and Lily. His ease with them made her heart ache with longing. There was something so genuine about his laughter, so real in the way he listened. What would it be like to trust someone again? "Hey, Mia!" Ryan called out, snapping her from her thoughts. "What are you imagining for that corner?" A shaky breath escaped her as she approached, caught between fear and the spark of hope blooming in her chest. I want it to be bright. A place where every kid can feel safe." "Perfect," he said, his eyes sparkling. "That's what I want too. A space filled with life." She looked at him, searching for any signs of deceit but only found earnestness. Perhaps this was what hope felt like. Perhaps, despite her fears, she could dare to dream. As the sun set, illuminating their colorful work while shadows danced on the walls, Mia felt the pull of uncertainty again. Would this all come crashing down? Would Ryan still be there when everything changed? The breeze picked up, swaying the trees like whispers of hidden secrets. Would they find a way through the storm, or would they be left stranded in the rain? That night, as Mia lay in the dark, unable to sleep, she found herself staring at the ceiling, plagued by questions. What if Ryan wasn't who he seemed? What if this was just the calm before a greater storm? With her heart heavy with both hope and fear, she made a decision. Tomorrow, she would confront Ryan. She needed to know the truth behind his intentions. But as her eyelids fell heavy with sleep, a sudden realization hit her. What if the truth was something she didn't want to hear? She inhaled deeply, the weight of the decision sitting squarely on her chest. With her heart racing again, she wondered if she would have the courage to face not just Ryan, but her own fears that seemed just outside her reach. Mia awoke with the haze of uncertainty still clinging to her. Sunlight slipped through the curtains, casting warm streaks across her bed, but it felt like an unwelcome reminder of the confrontation looming ahead. She rolled over, heart pounding, and glanced at the door. Today was the day. As she walked to the kitchen, the familiarity of the morning routine offered little comfort. Jacob and Lily's laughter carried through the house, a small oasis of joy amid her swirling thoughts. The clattering of cereal boxes and the smell of toast filled the air, offering a semblance of normalcy. "Mom, I want the star-shaped ones," Lily chirped, her eyes sparkling. "Coming right up," Mia replied, forcing a smile. But today, even the smallest moments felt like a smokescreen. What would Ryan say when she asked him about his true intentions? Her heart weighed heavy in her chest. Was it wrong to question the one person who seemed to care about them? After breakfast, while Jacob and Lily played in the yard, Mia took a deep breath and stepped outside, the fresh air filled with the scent of blooming flowers, but it felt bittersweet. She needed to find Ryan, to lay bare her fears before him. As she approached the community center, her pulse quickened, each step closer pulling her deeper into the unknown. Ryan was already there, paintbrush in hand, working on the mural. He looked up and greeted her with that radiant smile, the one that made her heart flutter, even in the midst of her anxiety. "Hey, Mia! Just in time. Come check this out," he called, his enthusiasm palpable. She stepped forward, swallowing hard. The colors brightened the room, but her heart felt like it was shrouded in shades of gray. "Ryan, can we talk for a minute?" His expression shifted, concern etching his features. "Of course. Everything okay?" "Not really," she admitted, her voice a whisper. He nodded, leading her to a quieter corner, away from the laughter and chaos. The painting scenes blurred behind her as the moment tightened into focus. "What's on your mind?" Ryan asked gently, his blue eyes searching hers for answers. Taking a deep breath, she forged ahead. "I need to know, what do you really want from us?" She expected surprise, maybe even defensiveness, but instead, he looked contemplative. "I want to help, Mia. I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe in what we're doing. You and the kids have this light that should never fade." His words washed over her, but the doubts lingered. "But what if you just see us as a project? What if you leave when things get tough?" Ryan stepped closer, and his gaze softened. "You don't know how tough it can get for me, either. But I'm here, and I want to be here. I see you. I want to be a part of your journey, not just swoop in and out. I want to help build something lasting for the kids. The sincerity in his voice tugged at her heart. Was it possible he truly cared? Hope quivered but remained guarded, shrouded in the dark corners of her fears. But before she could voice more questions, a loud crash shattered the moment. A flurry of shouts erupted from outside. Mom! Jacob's voice cut through her, laced with panic. Mia's heart dropped. What had happened? Time ceased to exist as she and Ryan rushed towards the sound. As they burst outside, the scene laid out before them was anything but normal, and in that heart-drop moment, Mia felt fear rise up like a tide, threatening to pull her under. Could their fragile new beginnings withstand whatever storm was brewing outside? She turned to Ryan, her heart racing again. Would he stay? Would he fight for them? With shaky breath, Mia braced for the unexpected. The storm was here, and it was just the beginning. Mia's breath hitched in her throat as she processed the chaos unfolding before her. Jacob stood with his arms crossed, rage and fear swirling in his young face. Lily was crouched beside him, tears streaming down her cheeks as she pointed at the ground, an object hidden underneath their swings. What happened? Mia rushed forward, her instincts kicking in. She knelt beside her children, her heart hammering in her chest. A dog, Mom. A mean dog. It tried to bite us. Jacob shouted, his small voice full of panic. What do you mean a dog? Mia's eyes darted around the yard, searching for the source of distress. The laughter of kids nearby felt distant and removed, a faint echo of normal life as adrenaline rushed through her veins. Ryan leaned down, placing himself at eye level with Jacob and Lily. Can you show me where it is? His calm demeanor cut through the fear surrounding them, managing to anchor Mia just a little. Jacob hesitated but nodded, pointing toward the edge of the yard. It ran into the bushes over there. Mia's heart sank as she followed their gaze. What kind of dog could frighten her kids so thoroughly? With a slight push, Jacob stood and took her hand, leading them to the spot. As Mia approached the bushes, a low growl rumbled from within. She stepped back, instinctively pulling Jacob and Lily closer. Stay behind me. Mom, I'm scared. Lily whimpered, clutching her brother's shirt. Ryan edged closer to the bushes, his posture steady. It's okay. I'm going to check it out. Are you crazy? Mia cried, almost grabbing his arm to pull him back. But there was a resolute fire in his eyes. He wasn't backing down. Trust me, he said softly, his voice steadier than she felt. With that, Ryan crouched low, moving carefully, as if coaxing a frightened animal rather than confronting an unknown danger. After several tense moments, he reached into the foliage, and the growling suddenly ended. Mia's heart raced as she held her breath, anticipation shredding her nerves. Then, slowly, Ryan backed away, holding something small and trembling in his arms. It was a tiny puppy, coat matted and filthy, with just a hint of a whimper. It's just a baby, Ryan declared, a smile breaking through the tension as he brushed dirt from its fur. It must be been left behind. Mia's heart melted at the sight. The fear in her kids' eyes began to dissipate as curiosity started to take its place. Jacob stepped forward cautiously, peering at the trembling creature. Can we keep it? He asked, his voice small but imploring. She opened her mouth to respond, but words caught in her throat. Could they? Another life to care for, another responsibility? Ryan caught her eye, his expression full of understanding. It might just be what they need. Mia a little hope in the chaos. She felt the wall around her heart crack. This messy life they were building, this unpredictable adventure, it was fraught with uncertainties. But could it also be filled with healing? Lily reached out a hand. Please, Mom? Mia looked down at the puppy, and in that moment, something shifted within her. Maybe she could give in to the wild possibilities life was throwing at them. Maybe a new companion could be part of this journey. Okay, she said slowly, as if testing the word on her tongue. We'll take care of it together. The children squealed in delight, rushing to hug Ryan, and Mia felt the first flicker of light in her heavy chest. But as laughter erupted around her, another thought clawed at her mind: would this innocent creature bring joy or more heartache? A weight settled back on her shoulders as she faced Ryan, whose look was intent and loaded with unspoken thoughts. Could they all really make it work? Could this fragile new family endure the storms of life, alongside this unexpected puppy? With the little creature nestled in her arms, Mia felt a surge of emotion, a blend complicated and hopeful. As she looked into Ryan's eyes, a new wave of questions washed over her, questions that could change everything. What would this new chapter of their lives truly hold? And as she pondered the uncertainty, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the brink of something extraordinary. Something that could either shelter or shatter them all. Mia cradled the puppy against her chest, feeling its small, rapid heartbeat thud against her. The anxious whimpering had stopped, replaced by a soft, rhythmic breathing as the little creature settled into her embrace. She could sense the tension within her kids fade, replaced by laughter that rang out like music beneath the fading afternoon sun. "Look, Mom. Can we name it Sparky?" Jacob exclaimed, bouncing on his little feet, each word exploding from him in excitement. "Or maybe Peanut." Lily chimed in, her hands tucked under her chin, her expression adorably earnest. Mia didn't respond right away. Sparky? Peanut? The names didn't feel just right. She looked at the puppy, its brown eyes meeting hers with a spark of innocence that warmed her spirit. "Let us think about it, okay?" "Okay." The chorus of voices chimed back, and in that moment, their collective joy became a balm for her worries. She couldn't deny the lightness threading through the air, the small puppy finding a spot in their lives amidst the chaos. Ryan's hand brushed her arm gently, a simple flash of connection. "You did good," he commented, his voice low enough for her ears alone. Mia glanced at him, the flicker of doubt she held battling with the affection blooming within. "Thank you?" It teetered on the edge of her lips, but she swallowed it down, unsure if that was enough to express her appreciation. As the kids scurried off to find supplies for their new companion, a collar, food, and heaven forbid, toys, Mia felt her own thoughts swirling. What did it mean to welcome a little creature into their family? Sure, it made them feel alive in the moment, but would it still feel that way down the line? What if things get messy? She murmured, barely distinguishing the words from the laughter that still danced in the air. Ryan turned to her, his brow furrowing just slightly. "What do you mean?" "Life just it can be so unpredictable," she replied, suddenly brave enough to air her worries. "What if it becomes too much? What if this only brings heartache?" His expression softened, shifting from curiosity to understanding. "Mia, every part of life comes with uncertainty. It's how we choose to face it that unfolds our story." His words hung in the air, heavy but hopeful. Could she really choose to embrace this journey? As the children returned, their arms filled with bits and pieces for the puppy, the collar adorned with bright stars, a bowl shaped like a bone, Mia felt the stirrings of something deep inside her. Giving in to that uncertain, overwhelming knowledge that they were capable of so much more than just survival. Suddenly, Jacob spoke and broke through her reverie. "Mom. Look. Sparky's gonna need a home. Can we make him a little place to sleep under the swing?" And in that moment, something cracked open in Mia, like an oyster revealing a pearl. "That's a great idea, buddy." A surprising smile slipped across her face just as Lily nodded vigorously, her eyes sparkling with acknowledgement. They worked together, shadows stretching across the ground as day turned to twilight. Unfinished laughter punctuated their task, each giggle echoing against the warm air, bubbles of light lifting weight off Mia's shoulders. At the day's end, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Mia marveled at what they had created together, a small space brimming with the promise of life and laughter. As she looked down at Sparky, nestled warmly in the new blanket, she felt a shift, a sense that maybe this wasn't just about the puppy. Maybe this was a chance to redefine what family meant for all of them. But just as her heart swelled, doubt clutched at her mind again. How fragile was this happiness? As evening shadows grew long, she couldn't help but wonder if letting this small creature into their lives would tighten their bond or unravel it completely. Could this new chapter truly hold the healing they sorely needed? The puppy's soft bark snapped her from her thoughts, and as Mia glanced up, she caught Ryan's gaze again. He seemed to sense the conflict roiling beneath her calm surface. "Hey," he called softly, his voice a steady anchor. "Whatever happens, we're in this together." His words ignited a small flicker of hope, and the warmth spread through her, though uncertainty lingered. As they all knelt by Sparky's new home, Mia pondered quietly, was joy here to stay, or was it simply playing hide-and-seek in a world still too chaotic to trust? A single question echoed within her: could they really build a future strong enough to weather the storms ahead? The next morning, the sun peeked through the curtains, illuminating Mia's room in soft, golden light. She stirred, feeling an odd mixture of hope and nervousness. Today, she had to confront the reality of welcoming a new member into their family. It wasn't just about Sparky but what it meant for all of them. As she headed to the kitchen, the sounds of her kids filled the house. Jacob's laughter echoed off the walls as he tried to teach Sparky a new trick, while Lily squealed in delight as the puppy clumsily chased a ball across the floor. The chaos, once overwhelming, began to feel like music, a melody of possibility. Mia poured herself a cup of coffee, savoring the aroma. Ryan joined her, leaning against the counter. "Morning. How are you feeling?" he asked, concern flickering in his eyes. "Excited, but I don't know, something feels off," Mia admitted, fingers tracing the rim of her mug. "What if it's too much for the kids? Or I can't handle it?" Ryan reached out, his fingers brushing hers. "It's okay to be scared, Mia. Just remember, we're doing this together." His voice was steady, and for a moment, Mia felt anchored. "Right," she breathed out, drawing strength from his presence. Breakfast was a whirlwind of shared jokes and discussions about what tricks Sparky would learn first. Lily's eyes sparkled with curiosity. "Can we teach him to roll over? And fetch?" she asked, bubbling over with excitement. Jacob chimed in, "And he needs to learn how to sit." "I can help." Mia smiled, watching their enthusiasm grow. Little moments like this felt like pieces falling into place, crafting a tapestry of family that she longed to hold together. After breakfast, they ventured into the yard, where Sparky seemed more like a blur than a puppy, darting between the kids' legs. The laughter and squeals danced around them, a symphony that washed away the remnants of Mia's worries. She knelt to play with the dog, feeling its warmth against her hands. Slowly, she felt a bloom of love every time he wagged his tiny tail or nuzzled against her, but she still couldn't shake the tiny whisper of doubt. The kids were so in love, what if they found disappointment further down the line? Just as those thoughts started to spiral, an unexpected knock jolted her from her reverie. "Mia?" "It's Aunt from next door," a cheerful voice called out, and was a friendly presence, always popping by to lend a hand. Mia opened the door, surprised to see her holding a basket filled with dog treats and toys. "I thought Sparky might enjoy these," she said, her voice bright. "It's always a big adjustment, you know." Mia's heart softened at the gesture. "Thank you, Anne. That means a lot." With Sparky bouncing around their feet, the neighbors chatted, sharing tips about puppy training. "It's not always easy, but it's worth it," and smiled, eyes sparkling. "Just give him love, and he'll become part of your beautiful chaos." Mia felt warmth bloom inside her. Perhaps this was a sign that she wasn't alone in this venture. The shared community felt reassuring, wrapping her in an embrace that made the unknown seem a little less daunting. As and left, Mia felt a new surge of determination. Maybe she was ready to embrace this messiness, the laughter, the chaos, and the love that came with Sparky. But when she looked over at Ryan, a shadow crossed his face. "What's wrong?" she asked, concern breaking through her newfound resolve. His silence felt heavy, an unspoken weight that began to fill the air. "I don't know, Mia. I think we need to talk about how this affects us, our family," Ryan said, his voice low yet urgent. Mia's stomach twisted in knots. Could it be that they were at the edge of their own fulfilling journey, or was a storm brewing? Her heart raced. "What do you mean? Is everything okay?" She could sense the answer was just a breath away, and panic crept in. Whatever lay ahead could change everything they'd just begun to build, and the stillness between them spoke louder than words. Mia took a deep breath, feeling the air thicken with uncertainty. Ryan's expression was like a storm cloud hovering overhead, casting shadows on their sun-drenched living room. She could see the gears turning in his mind as he searched for the right words. "We need to talk about our plans for this summer," he finally said, his voice barely above a whisper. "About how adding a puppy and more time at home could change everything." Mia felt her heart sink. "Are you worried about the kids? Or about us?" she asked, bracing herself for the answer. "It's just between your job, my hours, and everything with the kids, adding Sparky seems like a lot. Are we ready?" Ryan looked away, staring out at the yard where Jacob and Lily were playing, oblivious to their parents' heavy conversation. Mia leaned against the counter, struggling to process his words. Just yesterday, their house had felt alive, bursting with joy. Now, it felt as if something essential was being snatched away. "It's too soon to think like that," she insisted. "We haven't even given it a chance." "Maybe we haven't," he conceded. "But it feels like everything is on the edge. I don't want to uproot the stability we've built." A wave of frustration surged within her. Stability wasn't that what they were trying to create? At this moment, Sparky seemed more than just a puppy. He symbolized hope, the laughter and love they had been longing for. "Can't you see how happy the kids are?" she countered, motioning toward the backyard. Jacob was now on his knees, demonstrating a new command, while Lily clapped, giggling. "Sparky is part of that happiness. We can learn together, handle it, we are a team." Ryan turned, his eyes softening slightly. "I want that too, Mia. But we need to be realistic. Can we really juggle everything, or will we just burn out?" Mia's fears began to bubble up again, raw and unfiltered. What if he was right? The thought of disappointment haunted her. "Then we'll figure it out together," she murmured, seeking reassurance. "That's what families do, right?" Ryan nodded slowly but remained unconvinced. "Okay," he said finally, but there was a hesitance in his voice. "Let us give it a week. If it feels overwhelming, we can reassess." As he spoke, Mia felt a layer of tension lift slightly. They were still on the same page, even if it sometimes felt like they were reading between the lines. Still, as much as Mia wanted to trust this decision, doubt clouded her heart like a gathering storm. In the yard, the puppy launched himself toward Jacob, knocking him over in a playful tumble. The laughter echoed, a fleeting sound that mingled with Mia's worry, creating a strange chorus of joy intertwined with concern. She craved more than just a brief spark of momentary bliss. She wanted a lasting treasure of happiness, for all of them. "Mia?" Ryan's voice pulled her back. "Do you think we can do this? I mean, really do it?" "I don't know," she admitted honestly, her heart racing. "But we have to try. Even if it's messy, even if it's hard." The kids cheered, and as if sensing the camaraderie around him, Sparky bounced joyfully, tail wagging furiously. Ryan's smile returned, albeit cautiously. "All right then, 1 week. And we keep an eye on everything." "Deal," Mia said, feeling grateful for small victories. The atmosphere softened, but the heaviness still lingered at the edges of her mind. She was certain this was just the start of something much bigger than just a puppy. As the sun began to sink in the sky, casting long shadows on the lawn, Mia felt a tug at her heart. The feelings swirling inside her were a mix of excitement and fear. She knew that the journey they were embarking on would require not just love, but also resilience. And beyond this puppy and her children, there was still so much lying beneath the surface waiting to rise. With a gentle nudge from Sparky, Mia decided in that moment to embrace whatever came next. But before she could express her confidence to Ryan, a sudden movement caught her eye, a glimpse of something darting away towards the woods at the back of their property. Her heart skipped a beat. "What was that?" she gasped, her pulse now racing anew. Ryan followed her gaze, eyes narrowing. "I don't know, but I think we should check it out." An inkling of curiosity mixed with unease settled in her stomach. What awaited them in those shadows? With Sparky bouncing beside them, they stepped forward as the sun set behind them, unaware that the evening held more surprises than they could imagine. Mia felt a chill dart down her spine as she watched the shadows deepen in the woods. The familiar sounds of their backyard faded, replaced by the rustle of leaves, and the chirp of crickets that seemed to have turned into a soundtrack for their uncertainty. "Stay close, Sparky," Mia whispered, her heart thudding. The puppy, oblivious to her fears, pranced ahead, tail erect, eager for adventure. Ryan kept his gaze fixed ahead, a protective instinct surfacing as he moved closer to Mia. "Maybe it was just a raccoon or something," he said, though his tone barely masked an underlying tension. "But we should definitely take a look." Their steps crunched softly over twigs and dried leaves, the twilight creating an almost ethereal atmosphere, illuminated only by the last golden rays of light. Curious excitement welled in Mia's chest, mingling with a flicker of fear. What if they stumbled upon something unexpected? The path quickly became narrow, overgrown and wild, much different from the well-manicured yard of their home. "Here, hold my hand," Ryan said, reaching out to Mia, and she took it, feeling a rush of warmth that grounded her in this moment of uncertainty. "Do you think it could be an animal?" she asked, her voice low. "Could be. But we should be careful. It's getting dark." The atmosphere thickened with each step they took into the unknown. They passed trees as tall and ancient as forgotten secrets, branches stretching like fingers reaching for them. Suddenly, a loud rustle made them freeze. Sparky barked, bounding toward the sound with unrestrained joy. "Come back, Sparky!" Ryan called, but the puppy was already a dart of fur disappearing into the underbrush. Before either of them could react, there was a muted thud followed by a brief, startled whimper. Mia's heart dropped. "What was that?" "Let us go," Ryan urged, pulling Mia closer as he ventured forward into the brambles, following the sound. The darkness was creeping in, and the air was becoming cooler, wrapping around them like a shroud. "Mia, are you sure we should?" "Please, just a little further. We can't leave Sparky." With their hearts racing, they ignored the instinct to turn back. There was a pull, an urgency to uncover the mystery that lay ahead. Just then, they emerged into a small clearing, moonlight spilling through the branches above, illuminating a sight that took their breath away. In the center of the clearing, they spotted Sparky wagging his tail furiously at a small, trembling shape. There, huddled against a mossy log, was a tiny creature. At first, it appeared to be a stray dog, but as they drew closer, Mia's heart twisted painfully. It was a child. "A little boy?" she exclaimed, her voice rising with surprise. His clothes were ragged, dirt smeared across his cheeks, and his big, wary eyes glistened with tears in the moonlight. "Hey there," Ryan said softly, kneeling down, as if to show he meant no harm. "Are you lost?" The boy flinched, inching backward, pressing against the tree. Mia crouched beside Ryan, her own emotions swirling. "It's okay, we're not going to hurt you," she said gently. "What's your name?" He blinked at them, uncertainty painting his features. Behind him, the dark woods seemed to breathe, as if holding 1,000 secrets. "Jack," he whispered, almost so quietly she thought she might have imagined it. "Okay, Jack," Ryan said, a decisive edge in his voice. "Let us get you home." Mia's heart raced, but it was not just concern for this boy. A realization washed over her that this moment was the beginning of something much larger than expected. They thought they were just getting a puppy, but here they stood on the precipice of an unimaginable journey, a chance to help someone who needed them. As Mia reached out her hand, Jack studied her, struggling between trust and fear. "You want to leave me?" he asked. "Never," she promised, her heart swelling with a determination she hadn't known she possessed. Suddenly, behind them, the rustle turned louder, as if laden with weight. They turned instinctively, realizing they were not alone in the woods anymore. What else would they uncover in this haunting yet beautiful night? Underneath a star-studded sky, the gravity of the moment bore down on Mia, Ryan, and the little boy, Jack. As they stood there, flanked by shadows, it struck Mia how intertwined lives could become, how paths could converge in unexpected ways. Facing the rumors and battles they had fought together as a family, now they were faced with something even more profound: a chance to offer shelter and warmth to someone lost. "Jack, we're going to take you home," Ryan affirmed, his voice a steady beacon of reassurance. The boy looked uncertain, glancing back toward the dark of the woods that felt like his only refuge. The tension was palpable. What haunted him? What had brought him to these woods, lost and afraid? Overwhelmed by a surge of bravery, Mia stepped closer. "It's okay, Jack. We've got room for you. You can stay with us," she said softly. Her heart was pounding, the commitment rolling off her tongue like a promise. But even as she spoke, doubt prickled within her. Could they truly offer him a safe space amidst all their own uncertainties? Jack blinked, tears glistening under the silvery moonlight. I don't want to be alone," he sniffled, and suddenly, that simple truth cracked open something in Mia. Maybe they were all just searching for a family. She dropped to one knee, looking him square in the eye. "You don't have to be." "Not anymore," she whispered, feeling a connection ignite. Ryan stepped in, gentle yet firm. "How about we all go back to the house? You can meet Sparky. He is a really great puppy," he said, trying to coax a smile from Jack. The little boy hesitated but then nodded slowly. It was a small step, but it was enough. With every ounce of love and care she could muster, Mia reached out her hand. "Will you come with us?" Slowly, Jack inched forward, taking her hand. Her heart swelled. In that moment, Mia realized that family wasn't only about blood, it was about love, safety, and acceptance. As they turned to head back, the once intimidating woods now felt like a path toward hope. The small group traversed together, with Jack sandwiched between Mia and Ryan, Sparky darting around their feet, tail wagging like a banner of joy. Under the fading night sky, laughter started to mix with the nerves, creativity igniting ideas about what their new family would become. Jacob and Lily awaited their return, full of anticipation. When they saw the little boy with Mia and Ryan, their eyes widened with surprise before lighting up with curiosity. "Who is this?" Jacob asked, his voice bubbling with friendliness. "This is Jack," Mia said, pride blooming inside her. "He is going to spend time with us. He might need a little help, but I think he is going to fit right in." Lily rushed up, her eyes sparkling as she knelt down in front of Jack, holding out Sparky. "Want to pet him?" Jack hesitated but leaned forward, his fingers trembling as he touched the little pup. A genuine smile sparked on his face, illuminating the vulnerability and pain he carried just moments before. It was a moment they all needed. A thread of connection, drawn tighter among this ragtag family. Ryan watched, his heart filled with warmth at the unfolding scene. It was a pivotal moment, witnessing the layers of their lives blending in beautiful chaos. "This," he whispered to Mia, his voice soft but determined, "is our family taking shape. Each of us has our story, and we're weaving them together." Mia nodded, her heart fuller than it had ever been. The fear that had once threatened to consume her began to slip away. This was the bond they had fought for. A family built on trust, love, and the acceptance of each other's imperfections. Laughter erupted, echoing across the yard. They gathered around Sparky, who was receiving an onslaught of cuddles from Jacob and Lily. Jack's laughter bubbled up too, joining them as the puppy wrestled between them. Mia felt a wave of relief wash over her. Whatever storms had come their way, they would face them together. This was just the beginning, a new chapter filled with promises, challenges, and adventures ahead. Together, they could build something extraordinary. As evening waned, bathed in the warmth of kindred spirits, Mia leaned into Ryan's side. She felt the weight of his earlier worries lift. "We'll be okay," she whispered, though not just to him, she said it for herself too. In unison, they included Jack, Jacob, Lily, and Sparky in their circle as they wrapped their arms around one another. Tonight, beneath the gentle stars, they were no longer just individuals seeking connection. They were a family, forever marked by their struggle, resilience, and unwavering hope. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but that was simply part of their journey. Their epic story was unfolding, and they were ready for whatever came next. So, dear friends, if you felt the magic of their transformation, don't hesitate. You need to subscribe now to keep up with the incredible stories we share. Leave a like right now to help the algorithm spread these heartfelt moments. Comment your thoughts and feelings about how this journey touches you. Share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this kind of transformation. This is the moment to show your support and channel your love into our next adventures.